Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. And oh yes, we are at Friday. So what are we doing today? My personal haul, and I'm using this one from my stash. I'm using the splat one that people asked to see, and as you can see, that kind of fits within that area there. And we're also going to use the lilac, yeah, because it's just so pretty. So I'm hoping to kind of combine all that together, and to do that I'm just going to move those out of the way for a second. Going to be using a very large sheet of the B Company watercolour paper stock. Now this cardstock, I've got fluff on it already, is from Walmart. People are always asking about it. Now sometimes they do run out, so when you spot it online, it's about, oh, let me just look down there, you get 50 sheets for about $10, and as you can see, it's huge. It's like 15 by 12 or something like that. All I know is it's large and it's good for crafting. So to go along with that, I've got a cheap brush from Dollar Tree, and I've got one of my canning jars here full of water. So I'm just going to drop this into there while we're chatting. I've got myself some kitchen paper for my messes. I've got a pencil because I'm going to need it, and I found a box of watercolours. I think I got these from Tuesday Morning a while ago. So there's 5 colours here. I've got yellow ochre, violet, Prussian blue, white and sap green. So those are the colours that we're using, and I'm going to be using my stamp block, which I was using last night to play, and I haven't cleaned it yet, but I promise you I'm going to do that. And the reason for the pencil is because we're using one sheet of paper and I want to know what's what. So I'm going to colour each section on my sheet of paper. So I can pretty much go like, I'm not drawing straight lines, I'm just kind of staying within. So that's my base. This is my splat. I'm kind of pushing this up towards the top. So that's going to be my splat piece. And then for my hydrangeas, obviously different colours. If you've got your snips, use your snips. I'm just bending these at the moment, and I will straighten them up later. Right, so I'm going to put my hydrangeas into this scrap down here, and then my leaves, I'm hoping they're going to fit, because I don't like to waste my paper. So my leaf pieces are going to fit right there, and then my other hydrangea piece is going to be there. So with my pencil now, I'm just going to kind of squiggle so that I'm leaving myself just a little bit of a border, and I'm not wasting any paper there. That might not make sense to you, but it certainly makes sense to me. Right, so now that I know which bits are going where, I can just colour the whole sheet in the shades that I'm choosing. Now I just took my leaf off there, and I just remembered that I didn't pencil mark around that, so that's going to be green. Now white does tend to send my camera a bit funny, so I apologise about that. Right, I'm just going to spritz my block and clean off just that little bit of ink that I was having fun with, which I think was Blueprint, I'm not sure. So I have cleaned that off to save myself contamination. Right, and the first thing that I want to do is my base, which is this one, and I'm going to go for, I think, violet. And I haven't even opened some of these. I mean, shame on me. If you've got stuff in your stash and you haven't used it yet, get it out and have a play, because you just never know. Now there's a lot of water in that, and that's an awful lot of ink I just put down there, or should I say watercolour. I've got a wet brush. I'm going to go in now and I'm just going to wet so that my paint will travel. But this is a great way for doing things really quickly and just utilising one sheet of paper because there's no waste. Right, so that's wet, and of course, as with all watercolour paper, it will warp up towards you. So I've got water on my brush and I'm going into this. Now, depending on how dark we want it, I can of course lighten this up after. But let's just pull that down. I don't want it to look too Halloween-y, that's the thing. I do want it to be quite subtle. I'm not doing a very good job of that at the moment. So I'm just swooshing that about onto that damp paper. And then I think what I'm going to do with that is add a little bit more water and then just lift it off. So just brushing loads more water. And I've learnt my lesson applying that bit of watercolour, that I don't need to add as much next time. So I've got my scrunched up paper here and I'm just going to go higgledy-piggledy and lift that off so that what I'm left with is a subtle lilac-y shade rather than Halloween purple. Right, so that is going to be my base, which might look, you know, strange at the moment, but I promise you it will work out. Right, now then, I'm trying to think if I want to, yeah, I'm going to leave that on there and I'm going to add some white to it. And once again, it's one that, oh yeah, I had used it. It's gone a bit inside actually, so I'm going to squeeze it here. Wait for some white stuff to come out and put that on there, yeah. Who knows what that yellow stuff is? It's probably a chemical that binds it together. So I've still got a lot of water here and I'm moving up. So this layer, I want it to be much, much paler. I don't want it to be as strong as this one. So just use a lot of water and wash it out. And I'm also making it a little bit milky. Oh, that's better. Really soft. I hope this is showing up all right on camera. And then I'm going to go in and blotch that because I want to add some blue. So I'm just using the same piece, so it's got those colours on, but we're just knocking a lot of that colour out. Just want it to be really, really soft. Think about lilac-y hydrangeas and you'll be halfway there. Right, I need to rinse that, and I think I've got space there to put down some of this blue. I know that this is a very strong colour, and once again this has not been opened, so who knows what's going to happen when I squidge some out. Just put the cap there. Just going to give it a gentle squeeze. Now that is a huge amount, even though it looks tiny. And I'm just going to pick up just a little bit of that and mix it into here. So I'm squishing it around in my white stuff. Oh, that's better. And we're going onto here. And then we're going to lift off some of that as well. Right, now I'm happy with that. That looks totally different in colour to this one, and I don't know whether that shows up on camera or not. So now I'm going to keep that there. I want to remove this because I haven't got a clue what that is. So that's the flowers, and then for the top plate I'm going to do a blend of what I've got here, but try and make it just a little bit darker and put some blue in it. So I want 3 shades. Right, this looks like this one might be the one, so I'm just going to put that onto there, and then I'm going to add some water into it. So I've got like a cross between them all, and I'm not looking for perfection. I love these brushes. You can get ever such a lot of stuff done with them, and wow, I paid $1 for mine. They're probably $1.25 now, but it's still a good purchase. Right, so that's going to be my splat plate there, and that's going to be my base plate, and this is going to be the what you call them, the lilacs or the hydrangea, whatever it is you like to call them. And once again, just to save, I'm using this one, and I'm just going to lift some of that colour off. Now, I've got quite a few blue speckles there, and I'm not sure that I like those, so I'm just going to brush those out. There, now I'm happy. Now I need to clean off everything that's on my plate, so my purple piece of tissue paper is what I'm using to get that off. You can see that now, a glorious mess. And I'm just going to pause while I go and wash it so that I can use the green. Right, so I'm all tidied up, and now I've got my sap green, and I've also got my yellow ochre, and I might actually put a little bit of this down in the lilac section as well. I haven't decided yet, so let's unscrew this. And oh, I probably have used this before, because the lid is peeling up quite easily. Oh, there's more of that horrible looking brown stuff. I just want to get rid of that so I can get the green. There we go. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not a shade of green that I'm going to want, so I want to add yellow ochre. Now, it doesn't look like I've used this one before. Oh, and the colour looks like it's at the top. Let's find out. Now, we've got to get rid of that stuff again. Right, so I'm going to mix yellow ochre with my green and see what I get. Oh, that's better. I'm squooshing it with my brush. Right, so now I'm going to go into the bit that was designated for the leaves, and you can see here we've got yellow and green streaking together, and that's quite nice. I like that. So I'm going to make sure that I fill up the full complement of that area, just in case I need to do a few extra die cuts. And it's nice that you've got shade difference here. So I'll just finish that bit off. And so as you can see there, we've managed from one sheet to do our base, our decorative top base, our lilacs or hydrangea flowers, and also our leaves on one sheet of paper. Now I'm going to clean away that green stuff off there. I'm washing my brush because I'm pretty sure I want to put just a little bit of yellow, and I'm wondering how I should apply it. But I've cleaned my block. It's quite oily actually, that stuff that's come out, because it made my block look cloudy. Right, so I'm going back with that yellow, and I only want a tiny bit. I'm making that quite watery. Right, let's see what we've got here. I just want to splash bits around. I don't want too much. And then I want to brush that over into this, so it's a little bit patchy. Yeah, so it's not kind of purpley all over. Let me clean that. Because I think what I might do now is go back in and put some white on top. Do excuse me for a minute. Right, sorry about that little interruption. Just a little Skype conversation I was having. Here we go. A little bit of white, and I just want to speckle that around in odd areas, and all it's going to do is lighten some of the places. So all I'm doing is stippling up and down, and I don't want it everywhere because it's going to cut the flowers out, and you want your flowers to look a little bit different. So some of them are going to be a little bit paler than others, so we're just putting those stippling marks in. Right, I'm going to put a bit down here. So that's nice and subtle. And although it looks, you know, blotchy, once you get your dye on, because it's going to cut out in multiple sections, you're going to get different bits of it, so it won't look that blotchy when you're die cutting. So I'm going to get my tool and I'm going to dry this. And then once I've dried it, I'm going to go and cut it out, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've been away and die cut, and I've got my splat panel and my base panel, and now with the leaves I decided they were a bit too too green. Yeah. Leaves that are too green, whatever next. So I'm just getting my water brush and I'm just putting some water down where I want to lift out that colour, and then just giving it a squish. So that's all you have to do. And I think that with my lilac, it's just not lilac enough, so I'm going to do something about that as well. Right, so my leaves are looking a little bit more distressed. I will hold one up actually, because I don't think my camera is showing so well. Whoops, if I can get my fingers under there. There we are. You've got the emboss of the leaves, and all I've done is just lift out a little bit of the green. So with my lilac, which is obviously not so lilac, and then we've got these, I think I'm going to leave the layering flowers the colour that they are, but I want to make the base a little bit more lilac-y. So what I noticed was on my desk, because I hadn't cleaned up yet, there's still some paint here, and I do not have a clue what that is going to do. Let's have a look. No, that's not strong enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take a tiny little bit from here and pop it onto my water brush, and I really am only touching the very inside. So let's see what happens now. Well, that's a little bit better. I'm a little bit more purpley. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing again on the larger piece. And just stick my brush in there and just pick up just a little bit. So we're already kind of purpley in some areas. I just wanted to make it a little bit more distinctive just on those edges. Right, now I'm a lot happier with that, and I apologise if my camera's playing up. Give me just a few seconds and I'll try and drop it. Okay, I'm hoping that's a lot better. I did take the camera, I mean you can see what size my hand is, so I've taken the camera down as low as I can so you can have a good look. And I'm also using this little sentiment strip here. I'm going to find the angle. It's around there somewhere. Oh, there we go. This is from Panalisa. You get a little package with lots of sentiment strips inside, and I've popped a piece of foam on the back of it, so hopefully I'm going to be using that. Right, I can see that there's a hole I haven't poked out in here, which is right there, so I'm just going to poke that through and get rid of that. I think I've done them all now. Right, so I'm just going to glide all of this out of the way. Got a little bit of mess there. And I want to glue this straight down on top, so I need to kind of get it even, but it's going to go down about there. I hope everyone's going to have an awesome weekend. Yes, I do. I don't even need to tell you what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be scaring the birds off the peaches. That's what I'm going to be doing. Otherwise I'll have none left. I think that's pretty much all the bits that need gluing. So now I just need to get this down evenly. I think that's it. Let's get rid of my glue. Now of course you could use a die like this to cut pattern paper if you want, you know, you don't have to watercolour or anything, but just to give you a close-up there of those different colours that are going on. Now one of the things I want to do is I want to add a little bit of distress onto the edges of my my lilac, just to make it stand out from the background, because once you start putting it together it does look, you know, very samey if you haven't got a little bit of shadow or something going on. I'm just using black, but if you wanted to use purple or anything like that you could certainly do that. So we've got our lilac bits, although I haven't decided if they're going in that particular order yet. because we need to now glue all of our little bits on. So all I'm going to do is a couple of these, and then I'll vanish and glue the rest on, because it will take a few minutes. So we've got lots of little flowers here that cut out on that separate little plate. I think I've got them all faced the right way around. And I've got my pickup tool, which is great for stuff like this. And just go in and, you know, just dot your flowers wherever you want them. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go there. And there. So you can see it starts to build up. Right, I'm going to finish putting all of these on and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's all of the little lilac type flowers that are glued on. Really subtle and pretty. They almost look dried. And now I'm going in for my leaves, and what I'm going to do is just put a little blob of glue onto the edges of each of these. Now you could add extra ones on if you wanted to, but I just kind of want to go like this. So mine are being stuck on there. And then for this one, I'm going to kind of go at that angle. Right, I'll let those dry and come straight back. Right, so they're dry enough, and now I'm just going to flip them over and pop a little bit of glue on the reverse. So I'm pretty much sure I want my largest one over here. So I'm going with a blob of glue there, a couple of little blobs at the stems, and then just dotting it in available spaces. I'll put a bit there. Right, now I can just flip that over and lay that onto here, and I think I'm going to go there. So I want my bits to lie flat. So I'm going there with that one, and then do the same with this, just your dots of glue into your available little spaces. And then I'm going to pick that up. Kind of thinking about that. I think I'm going to go there. So I'm laying on top of that other leaf. And whenever you see little bits of like fluffy glue or anything like that, just get your poke tool and just go along the edge and get it off. Right, now I've got my little sentiment that says thank you, but it's a bit bland and boring down there, and I've got a few leaves, so I'm kind of wondering if I can't have a cluster of leaves on my thank you, and I'm thinking that I can. Yeah, I think that's alright. So I've got those there, and then what's going to happen is the foam tape from here is going to hold those down, she says, hopefully. And I want to go down in the centre, and I want it to be straight, so I'm looking at it first. And then while you've got those down, you can just pop underneath with just a tiny little squirt of glue. And then give it a press. I do actually like the way the lilac turned out in the end. It looks really faded and old, almost like it dried on the branch in the garden. I do that with my hydrangeas. I let them dry like tissue paper and I just think they look so pretty. Right, I am just putting my cap back in my glue. Give it a clean off. Smooth that edge there. And that is what I've got for you today. So that splat stamp, it can not stamp die. That can be a bundle of fun if you want it to be. You could have all sorts of things poking out, or you could do it really arty in bold primary colours, and if you've got a paintbrush die or something like that, then that's going to look really cute on there. But I think just, you know, something simple like that. And as you can see, no watercolouring went on up in that corner, but I'm okay with that. But I just think that's really pretty. Right, you have an absolutely awesome weekend, and I'll be back again on Monday as usual. All links below. Bye.